Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that we received from TikTok, and it reads like this. If you have any confession that you want to share with us, please do not hesitate to contact us via Facebook or TikTok. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? It sounds like a movie. It was like I was inside a movie, a Nigerian movie to be specific. Me and my blesser, we used to sleep in the same house, in the same bedroom with a very big python. If it was someone else who was telling me this story, I would say you are lying. But this totally happened to me. I'm not writing this to scare people just for entertainment. To be honest, I don't even know how to explain why I'm writing this. I just know that I need to tell other people so that if you are dating someone that has a lot of wealth that you do not know where that money comes from, maybe it is time for you to start making some investigations to see what's going on. Because even if your guy is a criminal into drug dealing, you can get in trouble for that. So at least if you can just see where his money is coming from, maybe it will be better for you. What happened to me is still inside my head. It affects how I sleep, how I even remember things to this very day. There are times when I can even forget my name, especially when I am in stressful environments. It's just like I don't have thoughts. Sometimes I cannot even trust my own thoughts. I even went for therapy, but therapy did not help at all because of some of the things that were happening to me. And they even suggested that I was supposed to take some medication. But when I googled online, I saw that the people that take those type of medication, they'll end up having psychosis, in which I do not want. Every now and then, there are times when I smell raw meat, even raw blood, because this guy that I was dating, he had the habit of sleeping with me when I was on my period. He would sleep with me even after a miscarriage. I will be having a miscarriage and I will be bleeding, but he would say he wants to sleep with me. The first time when it happened, I could not even believe what this guy was telling me. I had a miscarriage. It was early in the morning. We were still in bed. Like we would sleep throughout the day because the guy, he never went to work. He claimed that he had a lot of people that were working for him, managers that managed his businesses. So when I started to feel so much pain, I woke up, I went to the bathroom, and I felt like there was something that wanted to come out. I returned back to bed because I did not do poop, even urine. There was nothing that came out, but I was in pain, as if my womb was being opened up slowly. When I returned back to bed, I tried to sleep. I told him that I was feeling so much pain because he wanted us to cuddle. He wanted to play with my nipples, and I told him that this made my womb to become very painful. Then I started bleeding. I just felt something that was rushing out of my private part. I looked and I saw that I had even messed up the bedding. I told him that this was what was happening, and I just wanted him to get me a towel because it was very painful for me to even stand up. I did not want to continue messing up the bed. Guess what he did? He went and he grabbed towels from the 3 bathrooms in his house, and he came and he said that he wanted to sleep with me. And I was like, how can you sleep with a woman who is losing a lot of blood and I think I'm having a miscarriage? And he said, no, it's fine. If we sleep together, it is going to stop the miscarriage. So I said that since he was the father of the pregnancy, maybe he knew, and we do have different cultures. I'm South African and he was Nigerian. I thought that maybe this was what they did in their culture. If a woman is having a miscarriage, if you sleep with that woman, then that woman will stop having that miscarriage. And it did not make sense to me. The moment that he entered into me, it was so painful, as if there was someone that was cutting my womb open with a knife. I felt no joy in what we were doing. Then after that, he apologized to me and he said, sorry, my love, I could not resist seeing you naked because you know that you taste so nice. And I was crying by then because I could not understand what type of a guy will do that to the woman that he claims to love. So to this very day, I still have that trauma. I'm scared of sleeping in the dark. This is what I do when I am all alone. I make sure that I always sleep with someone in my room because I'm scared of being alone. If it happens that I am alone, I have 3 phones. All of them, I make sure that at around 5 to 6 p.m., they are at 100%. Switch off the data from those phones that I don't use so as to save the power on the phone. Then I switch on the torch on each and every phone. This is what I do. And if it happens that I wake up in the dark, I start to have panic attacks. My heart will be racing. I don't know why. It just does, and I will feel as if I am about to faint. Brother Nashi, you can call me Tandekam. I grew up in KwaMashu in KZN. My childhood was a normal childhood, not rich, nothing dramatic. It was just a normal life. We worried about food, school fees, electricity, and I never believed in demons or tokologies, and I never thought that I would end up dating a Nigerian guy. I never believed in strange things, hence I said, if it was someone that was going to tell me this story, I would say, you are lying. And even to this very day, I sometimes ask myself if there is something that is wrong with my mind. I even ask myself if I am exaggerating the facts of my story. But when I remember how my life was before, I had a normal upbringing, never saw violence, never had any spiritual encounter at all until when I started dating this guy. My life is totally messed up. After matric, I stayed home for a very long time, almost 2 years, no proper work, just trying things here and there. Nothing lasted really. And when it came to my love life, there was a guy that I loved with all of my heart. I hope that it will be a lesson to other young girls that are growing up. This guy, I loved him, but the problem was that he believed that after graduating, then that was when he was going to be able to get a good job, and I could not wait for that. I wanted someone that could take care of me. So I started dating men that were older than me, that had jobs, not that unemployed guy who thought that education was the key to everything. And life moved on. I was used so many times because when you are dating someone that is older than you, probably he has a wife. In his life, you are just there to please him sexually. Love he can give you, but the love that he will give to you, it will never be enough. I had an abortion before. Maybe this is why God ended up punishing me, because I had an abortion. I fell in love with a guy. Later realized that this guy, he was a con. He had a wife and he had several girlfriends, and by then I was pregnant, and I said I can't carry this pregnancy. I apologized. When I had that abortion, I fasted and I prayed, trying to cleanse myself. It was in the year 2018. My auntie, she told me that I should come to Johannesburg. My auntie, she stayed, and she lives in Lenasia South. This is where I am currently staying as I'm sending this confession to you. My auntie said I could stay with her whilst I was looking for work. I honestly thought that Joburg would save me. Honestly, I wanted to believe that, because back home, after that abortion, my life was so messed up. I really did not know what was going on. I would try to get a job. It was one bad luck after another. Went to a prophet who ended up cleansing me, saying that the blood of the child that I had removed from my womb was crying unto God. That was why I was unable to get a job. So she took me to the river, and then that was when she cleansed me. And soon after that, that was when my mom told me that a little sister, my auntie, who stays in Lenasia, wanted me to come to Joburg so that I can try my luck. And I went back to that prophet, and the prophet said that, you see, you can go to Joburg. Everything is going to be okay. So, leaving KZN, I had two choices. There was one guy who had recently gotten a job. I had once dated him. He then called me and he told me that he wanted me to come and stay with him, and then we could get married eventually, because he had divorced his wife. I wish that I had stayed in Durban, to tell you the truth. Coming to Joburg was the worst mistake of my life, as well as staying with my auntie. The pressure that she gave me, she does not know this, even if I tell her that it was the pressure that she gave to me that made me to end up dating this Nigerian guy. I think that she will never agree. So I then chose to come to Joburg to start afresh. I did not want to elope to a man who had recently gotten divorced. When I came to my auntie's house, at first, I felt like I was at home, but I don't want to lie. My auntie's house is not a home at all. I'm just staying here because I'm desperate. From the first week, my auntie started reminding me that I was here to look for a job. I was not supposed to be a burden. Everything I did was wrong. If I would eat a lot of food, she would complain. If I would wake up around 9 a.m., she would complain. Even if she would see me just walking, it was as if I had done something bad. And when I would speak with people on the phone, she would come and knock on the door of the spare bedroom, which I use. She would be like, "You're making noise, we're trying to sleep." I slept on a thin mattress, and like the place that I started sleeping at first, it had no privacy. I was sleeping in the lounge. Then she said, "I'm going to put you in the spare bedroom." And it was painful because this spare bedroom, it was not being used by anyone. Yet she had me sleep in the lounge. No privacy, no peace. Sometimes I would lie there at night and ask myself if I had made a mistake coming to Joburg. After months of working with CVs, standing in queues, being rejected, I finally got a job at Steers in name hidden. Please do not mention the name of that mall. I worked long hours. My feet were always sore. The pay not so good, but I was grateful. At least I was earning something. This was my routine for almost a year. Steers, taxis, auntie shouting, demanding that I buy some food, sleep, repeat, steers, taxis. This was my life until I met this guy. He was a Nigerian guy. I met him at Checkers. I had gone to Checkers. I was really tired after work. I just wanted to buy bread and milk. My card declined at the till. The way that I felt at that moment, because I knew that I had something like 70 Rand in my Capitec bank account, but whenever I tried to enter the PIN, the card declined. I don't know what had happened, because when I opened the account, I saw that there was no money. I don't know what had happened, and I felt embarrassed. You know that feeling when people behind you are watching? That was when the guy, whom I will call Matthew, not his real name, he stepped forward and he paid. He just looked at me and he did not even make a big deal. I was just embarrassed looking at him, and he was like, "No, do not worry. Next time you will help someone else." That moment, like, I don't know, I just felt okay that this guy had spoken with me. So to return the favor, what I did, Brother Nashi, was that I waited for him, not at the till exactly, because I was so embarrassed with the way that my card had declined. So I just waited him by the entrance, and then he came and I helped him, and he told me that he had parked his car at the underground parking. So we went there, and I just wanted to assist him, then go back and catch a taxi. We talked outside. He was Nigerian. He was nice. He asked about my job, where I stayed. Nothing aggressive. I was the one that gave him my number. 2 days later, we went on a date. Nothing fancy, just food and talking. He was a guy that listened, and this felt so new. Within weeks, I felt like this was my Prince Charming from Nigeria. I know how that sounds now, but at that time I felt like I was the luckiest woman in South Africa. 3 months later, he asked me to move in with him. I'll just say that when I moved in with him, I did not want to, but there was a little bit of me that wanted to. And I started staying with him in a very nice, quiet neighborhood. I had been staying in the location all of my life, but here I was in a very nice place, clean, quiet, safe. Everyone minded their own business. I did not even think twice. I wanted out of my auntie's house so badly. Living with him, it felt like he had rescued me. I slept properly again, and this was my house. Like he told me, babe, this is yours. You're going to become my wife. You can do whatever that you want. Staying with my auntie, it was heartbreaking. I would eat food being afraid. She had the habit of hiding even cornflakes in her bedroom. Here, everything was just there for me. I would eat without fear. Then I got pregnant. I was happy when I got pregnant. I could not wait to tell him. But somehow, like the way that he responded, it confused me. He was quiet. 2 months later, I had a miscarriage. I miscarried. There was blood. Like I told you in the beginning of my story, that it happened early in the morning. This was my first time losing a child in a very painful way. The first time that I had an abortion, I really did not even care because I did not want to waste my time on a man that had been lying. But this time around, I had invested my womb in this baby making thing, and it was painful for me, the confusion that I had. And it was like, no, do not worry, this thing, it happens to many women. We tried, we'll try it again. I believed him, I really did, even though he had slept with me while I was having a miscarriage. Like, who does that? Over the next 3 years, I felt pregnant 5 times. Each and every time I lost the baby, between 2 and 3 months, it's like clockwork, like there was a little calendar somewhere. And it would take me to these 24-hour private doctors, those that don't ask a lot of questions, and they'll just check no infections, and then they'll give you medication. You come back. By the time that I lost the 5th pregnancy, there was something inside of me that just flipped. Something inside of me switched off. On my birthday in 2022, then that was when Matthew surprised me. He took me to a dealership in Alberton, and he bought for me a nice VW Polo. I cried. I thanked God. I thought maybe life was changing again. Like this was just a normal car. It's not like I was going to be suspicious that, this guy is using me for rituals. It was just a normal car. That same week, everything changed. One night I woke up to a sound. I felt as if there was something that was leaking in the bedroom, and then I turned on the lamp. There was a huge python that was on the bed. I had gotten to bed while I was watching Netflix, a series on Netflix, and I slept on the couch. So when I woke up, I'm not exaggerating, I saw a big python that was lying on top of the bed. Its mouth was open, and there was money that was coming out. And I saw that this money, it was wet. But these were rands, 100 rands, your 200, your 50 rands. It was falling onto the sheets. I screamed so loud. And then the bedroom door opened. And this time when it happened, it was somewhere around 8 to 9 p.m. As for Matthew, he had gone out with his friend, and the place where his friend was staying, it was a 30-minute drive. I knew that it was going to take a long time for him to return back, but he was just there. Like this was not supposed to happen. My boyfriend, he had gone out, and I knew where he was just before I had fallen fast asleep. And I think that I just slept maybe for about 5 minutes or so when I started to feel some evil presence in the bedroom. And he was there and he said, "What is wrong? What is wrong?" And what I noticed about him was that when he was asking me, like, "What is wrong, babe? Why are you scared?" The snake was there. He did not even look at the bed. And then I saw him rubbing his ring that was on his finger. As he was rubbing this ring that was on his finger, when he was doing this, I quickly remembered and I forgot about it. I remembered that the day when we went on a date, I was still doubtful of what I wanted to do to date a Nigerian guy. I saw that he started rubbing that ring that was on his finger as he was speaking with me. That was the moment that I fell madly in love with him, even though I was not yet sure if I really wanted to date a Nigerian guy, because it was something that I had never thought I would do in my life. He walked towards where I was and I was so scared. I felt so small when he was walking towards me as if he wanted to hurt me. I saw smoke that was coming from the from the ring that was on his finger. It was smoke that was coming out and it smelled quite a lot. Then my head started spinning. I felt that my ears were ringing. He touched my shoulder. I clearly remembered him saying, "Sleep, my love." That is all that I remember. After that night, my memory started leaving me. He had a habit of touching me on top of my head when I would be fast asleep. I would wake up sometimes and see him touching me on top of my head using that same finger that had the ring. And I started to forget a lot of things. I would put a pot on the stove and I would forget it, burn food like something that I had never done in my entire life. I started forgetting names, even my own names, dates, numbers. Once at Capitec, I went there, so we were casually chatting, and then the person that was assisting me asked for my date of birth. My mind went blank. I was just there, not knowing. I started sweating, feeling stupid, and I did not know what else to do. I even forgot to just look at my ID that I was holding in my hands. It was that gentleman that said, "Oh, let me see your ID." And even driving, it became strange for me. I would tell myself that I'm going to buy bread at a Total garage nearby. I would fill the tank, pay, go home, and hours later realized that I never bought the bread at all. This was quite strange. You go to the garage to buy bread, then you fill up your fuel tank and you forget to buy the bread. My periods, they would become heavy and painful. I once had a period that lasted for 2 months. One morning, I woke up in blood like I had given birth. And mind you, I never even complained whenever I would mess up the bed. That was when I said, this is just too much. Let me go and speak with auntie. I went to my auntie and I wanted to see her here in Lenasia. Even though she hated me, I just knew that there was something that was really wrong with me. One Sunday morning, I was walking past a church near Mansfield. That was when I heard a voice that said to me, "Go inside." Another voice then said to me, "No, don't." I stood at the gate. I was shaking, and then a woman walked out and looked straight at me, and she said softly, "Come in, Sese." I went in. Like when I went in there, the way that I felt, I just thought that maybe I was going to be manifesting, but there was nothing dramatic that happened. That very same night, I vomited eggs. These were soft eggs, and these eggs that I vomited, they had no shells. Then the bleeding came. That very same night, by then, I was at my auntie's place. Matthew sent me messages. He was cruel. He was cold. He said, "You are finished. You are embarrassed. You are an embarrassment to the whole of South Africa. Stay with your witch. I already have a South African wife who has an ass that is bigger than yours. much more beautiful than you are. Stay with your witch aunt. He blocked me. That was the end. And I could not even believe that this was how it was going to come to an end, with all the sacrifices that I had made. My brother, that is my story. I had to literally beg him to be able to go and collect my clothes. And when I got there, there was a woman that I met. I don't know if that was the wife or if it was a new girlfriend. That woman, she was rude. She just looked at me from my head down to my feet. Then she said, "Oh, you have your clothes that you want to collect." And then I said yes. And I checked everything and I collected my clothes and returned back to Lenasia, where I am right now. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Can you believe it? If you have any confession that you want to share with us, please do not hesitate to reach out to us through Facebook or TikTok. You can use a ghost account. Yo. Then there is another message that I'm going to be sharing with you. If I take time to respond to you on Facebook, the challenge is that there are a lot of messages of people, those that went to do money rituals. So a lot of them, they send messages. So please do not delete your confessions if you have sent a confession to us. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my story? I'm a South African woman. I was scammed by a Zimbabwean guy. He is currently staying in Dubai. He is using my daughters. All that I want is for my daughters to return back to normal. I am a teacher and I live in Mpumalanga. Where I stay exactly, I can't tell you. I have been staying here for a very long time. I got married, but my marriage failed quickly, and then that was when, right next to dorm, after I had gotten a house in the suburbs, because I just wanted to live a calm and a peaceful life with my children. My husband, he got married again. And then next dorm, there were some neighbors, they were Mozambicans, they sold their house. And then there was this other Zimbabwean family came. It was a man and a woman. They have no kids. These were like ultra rich people, even the cars that they drove. One day, I struck a conversation with the man because I was sinking into debt. And I blame myself. I had gotten an Audi. I did not know that a Q7, it is very expensive to maintain. So I was unable to pay some of the debt that I had. So I just wanted to know if they were willing to buy my property. And I wanted to know if they were able to give me extra money because I needed the money. So we spoke and they said, no, there is no need for you to sell your house. And then they said that they were going to assist me, but he was going to speak with the wife first. After he had spoken with the wife, he said to me, since you are working as a teacher, are you able to cut some hair from the kids that you are teaching? Because of the debt that I had, I did this. I started bringing some of the kids for extra lessons, and I would cut the girls' hair just a little bit. And when I would cut the hair, I would put it in a plastic bag, but I cut it in a certain way that the parents would never find out. Then they gave me money. I settled my debts, even bought another car for cash, another Q7. It was a latest model in that year. My children, they started running mad, and they are now drug addicts. These people, they are in Dubai. From what I heard, they bought a house in Dubai, like the way that they were rich here in South Africa, as to compared to the riches that they have right now. I'm sure that they are the richest people there. All that I need is for my children to return back to normal. If they want their money, they can take back their money. It's better for me to return back to the life that I was living in debt, yet my kids were okay. Recently, my son wanted to kill me using a shovel. He just rushed and grabbed a shovel. Lucky enough, I quickly jumped from where I was seated. I was sitting by the veranda outside, and he was busy just removing some weeds. I nearly died on that day, and he said that he hated me. I don't know if I am supposed to find a Zimbabwean traditional healer so that my children can be fixed. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Can you believe it? She is asking for help. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.